Mother of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumley found guilty of manslaughter. All right. The mother of a Michigan teen who deleted 4 students at his high school in 2021 was found guilty of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, the first time a parent of a school shooter has been convicted on charges directly connected to the killing. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How do you all feel about the parent of a school shooter being connected to the shooting? Do you all think that that's a pattern that they should continue? If you guys think that that's a pattern that they should continue, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Now, see, if you ask me, I think they need to look at it on case-by-case basis. But in this particular situation, there was a lot of warning signs. Not only did the mother absolutely ignore the warning signs, but she even facilitated him being able to have the weapon. So in this particular case, based on everything that went on here, I think that this woman absolutely bears a lot of responsibility in this. Yeah, I agree, Tedra. I don't think that is something that should just be applied universally. I think that they should look at it on a case-by-case basis. But in this case, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because she could have prevented a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? And she chose not to. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the mother of a Michigan teen who deleted 4 students at his high school in 2021 was found guilty of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, the first time a parent of a school shooter has been convicted on charges directly connected to the killings. Jennifer Crumley, whose son Ethan pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder in the killings at Oxford High, about 40 miles north of Detroit, and is serving life in prison, adjusted her glasses, closed her eyes, and lowered her head slightly as the verdict was read. It took the Oakland County jury nearly 11 hours over 2 days to reach the verdict. The judge set a sentencing date of April 9th. Crumley kept her eyes down as she was led from the courtroom in handcuffs. Prosecutors hugged family members of victims as they departed shortly after. Crumley's husband, James Crumley, will stand trial for the same charges in a separate trial next month. Now, let me ask you guys something. If you guys would be interested in me streaming that James Crumley trial, give me a thumbs up. If not, then give me a thumbs down. Okay? Neither side was able to comment after the trial because a gag order remains in effect until after James Crumley's trial. Okay. Prosecutors portrayed Jennifer Crumley as an out-of-touch parent, more concerned with her horses and a 6-month affair that she admitted had played out during the year of the shooting than about her son's deteriorating mental state. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm not gonna let me shut up, man. I'm not gonna say nothing. I was about to say something. I ain't gonna say nothing. Let me shut up, man. I ain't about to say nothing. The case was the first time prosecutors had sought to pin direct responsibility for a fatal school deletion on the parents of the shooter. Prosecutors pointed out to troubling text messages indicating Ethan Crumley seemed depressed and was losing touch with reality, and that his parents didn't provide help. They also said the parents failed to tell the school on the day of the shooting, when they were called in to discuss a violent drawing he made in math class, that his father had recently purchased a gun for Ethan. All right. So, I mean, look at all this stuff they do. He said he drawn these violent pictures, and they said, well, you drawing these violent pictures, we're gonna get you something to commit this violence with. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Who does that? Look at this right here.
I know.
Your Honor, calling people versus Jennifer Crumley, case number 2279990 FH.
Good morning, Your Honor. Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Members of the jury, evidence and arguments in this case are finished, and I'll now instruct you on the law. People see may hear things differently, and witnesses may testify honestly, but simply be wrong about what they thought they saw or remembered. It's also a good idea to think about which testimony agrees best with the other evidence in the case. However, you may conclude that a witness deliberately lied about something. However, in deciding whether you believe a person's testimony, you must set aside any bias or prejudice you may have based on a witness's disability, race,
Man, that's crazy, man. There's a lot that could be said there. There's a lot that could be said there. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree that there's a lot that could be said, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, it's not too much that can be said, give me a thumbs down. I think that there's a lot that could be said. It's a rare case. It takes some really egregious facts. It takes the unthinkable, and she has done the unthinkable. And because of that, 4 kids have died, said Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald in her closing argument. The defense tried to counter that impression by putting Crumley on the stand, showing Facebook posts of family trips and describing what Crumley called normal stuff they did together, such as playing video games, skiing, and swimming in the family pool. I'm asking you to find Jennifer Crumley not guilty for every mother who's out there doing the best she can, who could easily be in her shoes, said Shannon Smith, Crumley's attorney. I don't think many parents could easily be in her shoes. I don't think that most parents are prioritizing their new relationship over their child. I don't think that that's going on. I don't think that most parents would facilitate getting their children a weapon if their children is already having violent ideations. I don't think that would happen. I just don't think that most people would do that. What do you guys think? The 2-week trial was live streamed and heavily covered by the media, providing fodder for lively online discussions and podcasts covering Crumley's culpability or lack thereof and the prosecution's decision to bring the case. Online commenters also turned Smith, a flamboyant attorney with long flowing hair, who used examples of her own child rearing and drinking habits to defend her client, and quoted Taylor Swift in her opening statement, into a minor TikTok phenomenon. Videos focused on her in-court grooming and propensity to apologize, which she commented on during her closing argument. Legal experts agreed the case was significant in directly holding parents of a child convicted of a mass deletion responsible for the crimes. Prosecutors recently charged several parents with crimes related to shootings carried out by their children, though not directly pinning blame on them for the attacks. The mother of a 6-year-old who shot his teacher in Newport News, Virginia, was sentenced in December to 2 years for child neglect in connection with the non-fatal shooting. The father of a man accused of deleting 7 people and wounding dozens on a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois, pleaded guilty in November to 7 misdemeanor counts of reckless conduct for helping his son get a gun license. Was that Bobby Primo? If that was Bobby Primo, somebody let me know in the comment section. He was sentenced to 60 days in jail with 2 years of probation. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is that really a punishment right there? Is that really a punishment? Would you guys consider that like actually a punishment? Today's decision sends a powerful message to parents and other parties that they can be responsible for their actions that foreseeably contribute to gun violence, even if they don't pull the trigger, said Chris Brown, president of Brady United Against Gun Violence, a Washington-based nonprofit that has filed civil suits on behalf of a family against the gun dealer who sold a handgun to James Crumley and the school district. Kevin Cole, a professor at the University of San Diego Law, said the ruling could affect more general cases involving the charging of accomplices. There's a potential to have accomplice liability when a merchant sells an item to a person who uses the item to commit an offense. For instance, he said, the conventional rule was that unless the accomplice had a purpose or a conscious object, the crime be committed, you weren't responsible as an accomplice. Jeffrey Schwartz, a criminal law professor at Cooley Law School in Lansing, Michigan, said the conviction sets a dangerous precedent. Anything in your house that could be a weapon could be a basis for you to be held liable if your child did anything to someone else, he said. But Eve Brinsyke Primus, a professor at the University of Michigan Law School, said the conviction wouldn't necessarily open the floodgates to charges against parents involved in school shootings because they are very difficult to prove. The line between when your kid is a troubled teen and when you should know that they're dangerous in this way and you're disregarding the risk of them inflicting this kind of trauma is a really challenging line, she said. I disagree. Anybody that looks at any of the details of this Ethan Cromley case could tell that Ethan Cromley was on the verge of being about to do some very violent stuff. Would you guys agree? And shout out to Brooklyn Queen for being a like enforcer. If you guys agree that it was very easy to tell that Ethan Cromley was very violent and on the verge of doing some violent stuff, give me a thumbs up. If it wasn't easy to tell, then give me a thumbs down. To me, it's pretty easy to tell with that case. It's easy to tell with a lot of these cases. You know what I'm saying? On the stand, Crumley described herself as a helicopter parent who kept up on her son's grades and was concerned about his lack of friends, but never imagined that he might be violent. She also said she did feel like some kind of failure, though not necessarily as a parent. She said she had no idea what her son was planning and that her husband bought the gun a few days before the attack and was responsible for storing it. So this is what he drew. Ethan Cromley. Look at this. November 30th, 2021, 8:59 a.m. He drew this picture of a gun. The thoughts won't stop. Help me. So he's saying on here, help me. You see, he got this gun. Then right here, it's a body with bullet holes and blood in it. And it says the thoughts won't stop. Then it's a bullet right here. And it says blood everywhere. What kind of signs do you need? And then he drew a picture of somebody laughing. Let me ask you guys this. If you guys' kid handed you some homework and it had these images drawn on it, how would you handle it? How would y'all handle that? What would you do? Oh, and real quick, yo, shout out to Benjamin. And also shout out to my man AJ. I hope both of them are in here. They hit your boy on the Cash App. Definitely appreciate it. I want to make sure that I shout that out. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you guys this question. If his mom saw these images on some homework at 8:59 a.m. on November 30th, do you think that it would have been appropriate for her to go get somebody to either help him or get him somewhere to be seen? So now here it says, I've asked myself if I would have done anything differently, and I wouldn't have, she said. Although she did say there is something she would change about that day if she could. I wish he would have killed us instead. You sound crazy. So instead of simply taking him somewhere to get some help because you saw him drawing some weird images, you wish that he had a deleted y'all instead. You sound crazy, lady. You sound crazy. But prosecutors pointed to texts and a diary showing that Ethan, who is now 17, was slowly being pulled into depression and that his parents never took his own concerns about his mental health state seriously. Okay? In one series of texts cited by prosecutors, he told his mom that he thought that there was a demon in the house and it was throwing bowls. He pleaded with her to text him back. In her testimony, she said that she was driving back from the horse barn when the text came in, so she wasn't looking at her phone. The content of the text weren't troubling to her at all. It was just him messing around, she said. There's nothing messing around if your child is telling you they're hearing stuff that's not there. Would you agree? If your child is telling you, hey, I'm hearing voices that aren't there, there's nothing funny or, lighthearted about that. That's serious. Your kid's hallucinating. You need to go see what's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? One key to the case was her decision to not take her son home from school on the day of the shooting, right? So now if she really believed what she said that she did, she said that she wished that he had deleted them instead of deleting the people at school. If she wanted him to delete her, she could have took him home, but instead she chose not to take him home. Okay. One key to the case was her decision not to take her son home from school on the day of the shooting after he had drawn a bleeding person and a gun and wrote blood everywhere. The thoughts won't stop. Help me on a math sheet. And he also drew a bullet. The gun in the drawing had a striking resemblance to the one that his parents had purchased for him as a Christmas present a few days later, according to prosecution witnesses. Why would you buy somebody that's depressed a gun as a present? Why would you do that? If you guys knew somebody that you were friends with or that you cared about and that they were depressed, would you get that person a gun? How many of y'all will buy a depressed person a gun? Facts. Shout out to AB. She was running to get bust down. Facts. Ain't nothing wrong with running to get bust down, but take care of your kid first. You know what I'm saying? That's not more important. Everybody got needs. I get it. Take care of your kids first, though. They have needs too, and theirs come first. That's the whole thing about having kids. Your needs don't come first anymore. Crumley said that she would have taken Ethan home if he wanted to go, but that school officials gave her the option and indicated that they didn't think he posed a threat. As a parent, hold on real quick. As a parent, you spend your whole life trying to protect your child from others' dangers, she said. You never think you would have to protect your child from harming somebody else. That's what blew my mind. Well, you should have thought that. You never know what your kid's going to do. Craig Schilling, an electrician in Oxford, whose son Justin, who was 17, was one of the 4 students deleted that day, expressed satisfaction with the verdict and gratitude to the prosecutors. Asked by local media what he would say to Jennifer Crumley, Schilling said, "You wouldn't have to go through any of this had you just done your job as a parent." Yeah. Corrections. Oh, okay. You know what? That's it. That's it. We're good. That we finished it. Yeah. Now, how many of y'all want to bet that there's people going around making conspiracy theories that the only reason that she got convicted of this was because she's a Trump supporter?